This is our review of the BMW 8 Series Cabriolet. Let's go! In the front we see, first of all, very untypical shape of the BMW double kidney, but this is now the signature for the 8 Series that they take exactly this form. Also, when you look at it from the side, it basically has two dimensions right there. It rather falls forward, very interesting, and it's also adaptive, so it opens when more airflow is needed. 4 meters 84, 15 foot 9 or 191 inches is the length of the 8 Series Cabriolet, and you can see it's really not a short vehicle. It's not a compact sporty cabriolet, although has a massive power output, I can tell you, but we can see it here from the sheer length. But what about this one here? Look at that roofline, how flat it has been integrated into the whole vehicle. It really seems coupe-alike. We already have a review of the 8 Series Coupe, and this one does indeed come close. The convertible is about 125 kilograms heavier due to some strengthening in the chassis right here around, because you obviously miss the stiffness here from the fixed roof. But due to those additional measures, the convertible is just 2% less stiff from a chassis than the coupe. Very interesting. And of course, we want to see how it looks like when it's being opened. And you can also do that with the key, holding the opening button. And there we go. It's really very long roof, but for that, it goes fairly fast. And there you can see that when it's opened, it's rather about this simple design line that's just going all the way from the front to the back of the car, and I think that also makes this vehicle rather timeless. Visually, the 8 Series convertible really represents a very significant stance on the road. Look at this horizontal stress everywhere, tail lamps, also the rear top end, and then you have those overhangs here. But they are not real air outtakes. This is just beauty. The same also goes for the outside exhaust tips. The real exhaust is then on the inside. Let us lift this massive hood and see what's powering this thing. This one here is the M850i, a 4.4 liter V8 turbo with 530 horsepower, acceleration to 100 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour is 3.9 seconds, 0.1 seconds slower than the two-door coupe. Well, I think you can surely live with that. So, David Gray, let's get inside. Yeah, I mean, it's a big convertible, so you have this very voluminous seat. It is still a sporty seating position. You sit very low and also a little bit leaning back. So honestly, it's not the most comfortable seating position ever, as you know, I experienced at the first glance here. But I'll soon also tell you more about when we drive the car, how that one plays out. So far, it also looks quite close here with 1m86 or 6'1". I'll zoom close to the roof and see how that one plays out. Also, this whole middle console you can see is very voluminous. Also on its inside part, really splits driver and co-driver. So although it's a rather big car, you don't have much room to move around here. They more set the tone to a sporty interior which really cages you in just a little bit. Interior overview, again with this big split here with the middle console. The climate unit is still manual to control, where it has a digital screen, but it's really good that we don't have to go to the infotainment system. That's really cool. This button here, by the way, is that you can individually set all of the assistance systems in the infotainment system. So that's, for example, good if you want to deactivate the steering intervention of the lane departure warning, for example. Soon more deals to this touchscreen infotainment system. We can also have a metal knurling knob right there. It's an interesting quality detail. It's cool. Then those hotkeys you can set different, like a home address to those hotkeys. The steering wheel, again, it has always, when it comes as an M steering wheel, a little bit strange form because it's a little bit thicker in this top part. So the instruments all digital, and when we turn on the car, there we go, and camera magician Jonas also hits the throttle, then you can see that the RPMs go on counterclockwise and the speed would be going clockwise. In the middle part you can then see some GPS interaction. This wind deflector here is really effective, like those. Well, the Porsche 911 Convertible has an electric one that really goes out here and then actually flips out and looks almost like this. This one is probably my favorite one. Other than that, those classic ones, they really do a good job, and if you lift them up like this, you can even do it with one hand here, even when holding a microphone. And by the way, yes, it still has a reason that we use those big microphones. They deliver best sound quality and no background noise. You, at the moment, don't hear them. So what about the couple's weekend or Friday evening trip to Pismo Beach? Well, about some luggage. So, let's see. Electric opening. Well, it is of course somewhat limited. It's a convertible. That setup here would be that you could actually open the roof at the moment. Then you're of course even more limited. If you want more luggage room, then you flip that up. Now you cannot open the roof, but you have some more space right there. The capacity figure for that one is 350 liters. Welcome to Thomas's driving lounge here with the BMW 8 Series Cabriolet. And we start with a closed top because I want to tell you something about this insulated roof. This has actually several layers for the insulation. It comes as standard. It's not like we know, for example, from some Audi convertibles that they have that just as an option. This one here is the standard one. So standard equipment is that you get this soundproof roof, but yes, again, it's a very expensive vehicle. And BMW claims it would reach equal dB sound levels on the interior as the coupe. That's a very strong claim. And I mean, so far here, it really sounds very silent. Hear those passing cars and so on, and I don't have to raise my voice that much. So indeed, it is reasonably silent. Difference in the feeling from the coupe would be that this whole area here, because, there's just a little bit more freely designed in the convertible, feels a little bit more open, a little bit more spacious, a little bit more airy, and leaves a little bit more light in there. Other than that, both cars indeed feel somewhat similar. The driving here on, let's say, normal city driving road and heading towards the countryside, we'll also go to some sportier corners very soon. This suspension can make it comfortable. There's actually no problem because it is an adaptive suspension, and as long as you are in a normal, comfortable mode, this is also no problem. So that does work. However, there's hardly any tilting, also due to this anti-tilt control. So the car really keeps it upright, and also the rear axle steering helps you when, for example, parking in and out. And well, here for example, it's good that we do those live tests on Autogefuehl. Due to the sunlight, I really did not see this hump in the road. It was not too fierce, but the suspension did a great job in this case. And I want to get to some more speed now again after the next intersection, because I then want to show you how to open the roof while driving here. So we go straight. So, and now driving about 30 kilometers an hour. As I said, it goes up to 50, and then we can also open that roof. We also had some fans right there. And maybe you're hearing that on camera now. There's a big difference, of course, to driving with the open top, and that made us once more realize how silent it actually was to drive with a closed roof. About 100 kilometers or 60 miles you can easily drive with open top. So when you have all the windows up, that's easily to sustain, also as for wind noise and also the wind that is coming into the cabin. So this is really an all-season convertible, no problem also when driving in a little bit colder weather. This is pretty cool, and those roads here are not that good. So as for the surface, I mean, and this suspension is again doing a phenomenal job. Really, the suspension is the one I like best with the car, and well, their earlier claim was that they could really set up the suspension for this very vehicle because they just only offer one single suspension for that car. And I can tell you, well done BMW engineers, they really mastered that task, and it was obviously a very good decision. Also a good feeling from the steering wheel, especially in the corners. The dead zone here in the central part is somewhat limited, that's still okay, it could be a little bit better. But then as soon as you turn a little bit more, it really gives you good feeling in the corners. And considering again, it's rather a long and heavy car, this feels quite agile, especially as for, we got this rear axle steering that's helping us with that. Then also the anti-tilt control. And here in the countryside, this is also where this car is really at home. It is a design object, very beautiful designed, I think both in the front and in the rear, and timeless in the side profile. It's a pretty long stretch, but that's also why the proportions really work that well. On the interior we see a great build quality. Here in this case, BMW has quite often that problem still, that they lack some animal skin alternatives in the interior. That's the downside of that. And also I found the package quite bad, so you have now the turbo is finished cooling down. So you don't have too much room on the interior, although it's already quite a big car. And also the driving comfort is of course okay, but we have to rate this 100,000 euro or dollar car, of course, at a very high niveau. And so we can also say that the seating comfort for tall people should be a little bit better. The best about this vehicle is the suspension. Awesome job, you do not miss any air suspension. This adaptive M suspension has really been set out for this very vehicle, for the whole 8 series. It is doing a great job both in comfort and also in sportiness. That was really an awesome ride. You have some good cruising features. The adaptive assistance systems are really cool. For example, also the lane keeping assist. Been testing the same system in the X5 and also in the X7. You should check out our reviews from the US right there. Really well done as for this respect. And driving wise, I mean, it cannot deny its heaviness, its weight, and also its length. Though it's not a car that you would take out on the racetrack, or you would say, you hunt the next corners every day. It's more for cruising, taking out a highway number 1, for example, open top, and just pure enjoyment for that. And then for some sporty elements, I've shown you that here it is somehow also cool to do it. Yeah, after a while, again, you feel the weight of the vehicle, but still together then with the anti-tilt control, with the rear axle steering and this great suspension, you could score some decent speeds also in those winding corner roads. And again, hardly felt that the tarmac was rough, hardly felt that there was a lot of bumps in the road. Again, evened out by this world-class suspension. So here we present you again a lot of pros and cons. That's what we do about all cars, being as authentic as possible. I hope you really appreciate that here on Autogefuehl, and please also join us next time and don't forget to recommend us. Thank you so much for tuning in.